You know, for an iPhone 5 in the year 2015, the audio for that clip is pretty crisp. The video leaves a little bit to be desired, it's not the clearest, but hey, it's a memory and I will hold on to it forever. Hello everybody, welcome back into Diecast Driven. I hope you are all having a good day. Today we are going to be looking at some of the most favorite diecast in my collection. So in 2015, I was a freshman in college and Jeff Gordon was coming off a very strong 2014 campaign. And I remember scrolling through Twitter in my history elective class early in the morning and seeing his retirement announcement. And I didn't know what to think. I was disappointed because Gordon had been my driver since I was a kid, and I just couldn't believe that the day had finally come when he was going to retire. Immediately, I thought I got to get to as many races this year as I can. I knew Michigan was going to be a hit because we went to both races every year since like 2005, and then we tried to hit some other ones along the way. But when they announced the Homestead package, I absolutely had to jump on it. So what you guys are seeing here is the first iteration of the Homestead car. No, I take that back. What you guys are seeing here is the second iteration of the Homestead car. The first one was more like his primary Exalta car, and it never saw the light of day. There was a prototype made, maybe a couple prototypes, but either way, this is the car that went into production. They produced a lot of them. So all of the cars in today's video are RCCA Lionel Elite diecast, and I would say 2015 was pretty close to the best quality that they had. The cars were good, the detail was great, everything about Lionel, the pricing was pretty fair, everything about this time frame for Lionel was really good. So the first car that you see is pretty much the standard Exalta paint scheme that was going to be run throughout the majority of the season with a few tweaks. So the base black was turned into a silver, kind of like his 2012 Homestead car, and then the back of it remained black with a thank you on the rear TV panel to all of the employees. And when this announcement came out, of course I had to buy the diecast, so I bought it right away. A few months later, they announced a Homestead ticket package. Well, I had classes that following week, so I had to work with my professors to be able to miss those days, and it was actually during final exams. So I had to take a few final exams early so that my dad and I could go down to Homestead. The ticket package was $200, and this is crazy thinking back about it. It was $200 in 2015, and that got you access to all three races, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Truck, Xfinity, and Cup, and you got lanyards that allowed you to go on the track for the celebrations after each championship. And you got parking included and an exclusive promotional diecast that you could only get with the ticket. And my dad and I both got one, and we sold his a couple years ago because he didn't want it and I didn't have the need for two of them. Looking back, I kind of wish I would have kept it, but here's mine. It's not as detailed as the Elites, but it's still an exclusive specifically for the ticketed event. But the second car that you see is the raced version of the Homestead car. So this was with all of the detail on it as it ran in the final race of Gordon's career. And 2015 was a very interesting year because he did not run well for most of the year. He was kind of like a 7th to 15th place driver pretty much most of the year. And then he won at Martinsville 3 weeks prior to Homestead, which famously punched his ticket to Homestead as the championship contender, and everybody thought it was that perfect ride off into the sunset, drive for 5, Gordon would win his final title. And of course that didn't happen, but it was still such a fun weekend when he took the lead on, I don't even remember what restart it was, but Gordon went 3 wide, down to the inside, took the lead, and that was the loudest I'd ever heard a crowd, probably aside from when Dale Jr. won Michigan in 2012 in the Batman car. Those were the two loudest crowd noises that I've ever heard at a NASCAR race, and it was so much fun, and seeing everybody there hyped about Gordon finishing up his career and kind of celebrating that, but also having that excitement that he could possibly win his 5th championship was super cool. It was one of the most fun race weekends I've ever experienced, and I don't think I'll ever forget it. I don't think it can ever be replicated, in my opinion. The only thing that would have made it better is if Gordon would have won the championship. So that leads us to our third car here, which I originally bought the confetti decals for the 2014 car because I have this thing where Jeff Gordon technically is a 7-time champion because if they never changed the point system, he would have won in 04, 07, and 14. But again, that's a video for another day. So the decals were for the 2014 car, but I decided when I found another raced version Elite from the 2015 year, on eBay for relatively cheap. Like, these cars are insanely expensive now. Pretty much all of Gordon's cars from 2010 to when he retired in 15 have gone up significantly in price, and they're very difficult to find if you can find them. So when I saw one of these pop on eBay for like, I think it was $60 or $80, I had to buy it right away, and I didn't really know what I was going to do with it. Ironically enough, the DIN number for the second one that we saw without the confetti is number 600. So it's the last diecast made, and I was going to put the confetti on that one, but for some reason I didn't want to, simply because it was the last production of that one. So I loaded up this car with all the confetti, just kind of a what if situation, just to kind of see what it would look like, because I don't know, there was something in me that wanted to see this car with all the stars on it from the confetti, the black and yellow. And one of the funny things was when the race was over and they let everybody on the track, everybody hoarded up to the front to try and get as close to Kyle Busch as possible, and I was really hoping that would be Gordon. It obviously wasn't, and he didn't win the championship, but I did catch a shirt that the crew threw out, so it was an M&M shirt, which is kind of funny. But anyway, yeah, so this car is an elite body. All the cars in this video have been elites, lots of detail, tons of really cool features that each of them have, with the metal window bracings and the hood pins and tethers and all that stuff. So just a really good time in Lionel. The cars weren't too pricey, they weren't too expensive, but the quality and the detail was there, and I'm just really happy to own multiple of these cars. In the coming weeks, we'll see all of Jeff Gordon's chase cars, and I love the yellow windshield banner. I love the yellow spoiler on them. It sets the cars apart on the track. I really appreciate when they do that, and just, you know, making this video made me really miss that 2015 season. Even though Gordon didn't run well, the cars were still the Gen 6 cars, and I think aside from the Gen 4, which was from like 92 to 07, I think, the Gen 6 were my next favorite cars. Even though 2013 was terrible racing and it wasn't that great for the most part, and Gordon didn't do a whole lot that year, or in 2015, 2014 was great. And we'll get into a bunch of those cars coming up in the near future. But I hope you guys like this video. One of my favorites that I've made so far, because I just love reminiscing in these old Gordon cars, and that feeling's going to continue as we pull more of these things out of the collection and continue to go through them. So I hope you like my take on the what if, or what could have been, Jeff Gordon championship car. It's something that's unique in my collection, and I think that it's really cool because nobody else has anything like it, and it doesn't really fit in because it never really happened. And that's just how it went. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little bit of a longer one, but I had a lot of fun reminiscing about the 2015 Homestead finale, Gordon's last race that I attended in person. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you have a good weekend. Bye everyone.